Chapter 9, Compound Interest. The difference between simple interest and compound interest is that for simple interest, the interest is earned on the principal only. So the interest is only based on the principal amount, P. While for compound interest, interest is earned on the interest. So you're earning interest not just on the principal, but you're also earning interest on the interest as well. So if we look at the diagram below, we'll see the difference between simple interest and compound interest. So you'll see that for simple interest, our interest calculation every year is based on the $10,000 originally from the principal amount. So our interest calculation stays constant. It stays at the $10,000 every year because our interest calculation is based on the original principal amount, P, $10,000. And for compound interest, our interest calculation is based on the principal amount plus the interest that we earn each year. And as a result of that, because the interest is calculated based on the principal plus the interest, therefore, when we look at the balance at the end of 5 years, our simple interest balance is $15,000. And for our compound interest, our balance at the end of 5 years is $16,000. So you can see that compound interest and simple interest makes a big difference in terms of the ending result. And in terms of the formula for compound interest, we have future value equals to present value times 1 plus I to the power of n. That's the future value formula. And then present value is the opposite. And the present value formula is equals to future value times 1 plus I to the power of negative n. So that's the algebraic equation for the future value and present value formula. And there are some terminology that you need to know. The first terminology is I. I stands for periodic interest rate. So that's your interest rate for each period. And I stands for J over M. So I is your periodic rate, and then I equals to J over M. J is your nominal interest rate. And on the financial calculator, which I'll show you in a moment, nominal interest rate is denoted as I over Y. That's your nominal interest rate. J is your nominal interest rate, and on financial calculator, that's I over Y. And then M stands for the number of compounding period per year, and on the financial calculator, number of compounding per year is basically your CY, C over Y, compounding per year. So therefore, your periodic interest rate, your interest rate per period is equals to I over Y, your nominal interest rate, divided by CY, compounding per year. The next terminology that you need to know is N. N stands for the number of period, and the formula for N is N equals to T times CY, so number of years times your compounding per year. So N equals to T times CY. So those are the two formulas that you need to know. N equals to T times CY, and then I is your periodic interest rate. I equals to IY, capital IY, divided by CY. Next, we're going to talk about the difference between periodic rate and nominal interest rate. So periodic interest rate is your I, is your small I, that's your periodic interest rate. And then nominal interest rate is your IY, is your J. So periodic rate is I, and the nominal interest rate is your IY, capital IY. So these are two different terminology. Make sure you know the difference. So the example I gave you there is 5% per annum compounded semi-annually. So 5% per annum, that's your nominal interest rate. That's your IY. That's your J or IY. And then if we want to find out the periodic interest rate, what we can do is we can substitute the numbers into the equation. The equation for periodic interest rate is I equals to capital IY divided by CY, your nominal interest rate divided by your compounding per year. Your nominal interest rate is 5%, so therefore we put 0.05. That's your nominal interest rate. Nominal interest rate is 5%, so 0.05. And then your CY is your compounding per year. In our example, our compounding is semi-annually, so that means in 1 year, compounding per year is we have 2 compounding per year. Because every 6 months is 1 period, semi-annually means 6 months, semi-annual means 6 months. So therefore, in 1 year, we have 2 6 months, so we have 2 compounding per year. So that's why our CY is 2. So once we know CY is 2 and IY is 0.05, then our periodic interest rate is 2.5%. For every 6 months, our interest rate is 2.5%. That's your periodic interest rate, your interest rate per period. And each period in the question, in this example, is semi-annually. So in this example, each period is 6 months. So in 1 period, our interest rate is 2.5%. And that's your periodic interest rate. So in the table here, I gave you the different compounding period. So if it's annual compounding, that means we're compounding it once every year. So that means therefore our compounding per year, our CY, is 1 time a year. If it's semi-annual means that every period is 6 months. So therefore in 1 year, we have 2 periods with 2 6 months. So our compounding per year is 2 times a year. Same idea for monthly compounding. Each period is 1 month. So in 1 year, we have 12 months. So therefore, we have 12 period. So as a result, our compounding per year is 12 times a year because we have 12 period in 1 year. The only one that's tricky is quarterly. What you need to know is that 1 quarter is 3 months. And in 1 year, we have 4 quarters. So therefore, our compounding per year is 4 times a year.